Hampshire?
freeconcord.org.
Freeconcord.org. And I guess you've been here from the very beginning to report on what we're all about.
Yeah, I've been taking part since it's been going on in Manchester. They hit the first GA here to confirm or affirm that they were going to work with the Manchester group and Occupy NH. And I was sorry to see that get shut down. And I just really like the fact that there was an intentional community going on in Manchester in a park. The homeless had tents to stay in. It was just a new infrastructure that was created, and I think it seems kind of secondary to everybody that was doing it, the fact that they created an intentional community.
If you'd like to provide contact information, you can. If not, you can sign your name and be we'll call this GA to order. I'm going to be very poor at keeping it organized, but we will try to follow a format. I'll start. Normally we'd have the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to waiver that just to keep it simple. We had a big group. I'd probably try to go ahead with that.
Question, when did you guys incorporate the Pledge of Allegiance?
It wasn't a format we did it at our last GA right here. It was, I asked at the GA if we could do it. It was approved as a formal way of starting a meeting. There was some discussion and even at that last Saturday's GA, two people, Sean to name one, decided he didn't want to participate, and then I dialogued with him on this, and I said it's your choice. You do not have to say the pledge, but it was agreed upon at our Wednesday GA that we would say the pledge, and so we went ahead and did it, and 45 people faced the flag and swore allegiance to our country. And my point is, this is our flag, this is our country. It's worth fighting for. That's what Occupy is all about. We do not accept it the way it is. We want the Constitution, the flag, the country belongs to the people. That's as simple as it can be. We don't have to be anti-government or anti-flag. We don't want to tear it down. I don't know if you're saying the opposite. I'd love to hear what you're saying.
I'd actually say that's one of the few places I probably do have common ground with. I do not pledge allegiance to the flag.
Okay, this is your option. Matter of fact, the Supreme Court said you do not have to take the pledge. You have many ways to show an allegiance. I will not call you a traitor because
I don't feel I need to show allegiance necessarily either. I think there's a big difference between disrespecting something and not going through with an honorary for something. The Pledge of Allegiance is an honorary. There's no other country except for, I believe, North Korea that makes children recite a pledge to the flag of the country. And I think it's very much like an ideological totalitarianism, and it's something that
that's your spin. I'm going to let it go at that. I'm going to move forward. This has already been accepted. I don't think we have to make it a precedence to discuss whether we're going to say the pledge or not at every GA, but I've already said we'd waiver it mainly because of the size of the group, and your discussion is well taken. We're going to follow the format of an agenda for this meeting, and we will start by introducing Meredith as, I can't even remember your last name. Luco, and she's going to act as our recording secretary. I don't know if you need pen and paper, you can do it by memory, either way works.
Everyone signed in that wanted to?
I already did my email.
Okay. I'm Meredith Luco. I've been to, this is my third GA, and I've been to a discussion group at Cheers, and I went to Peterborough. I don't know if you want to call it GA. Everyone has different definitions or whatever. I just go to these group meetings that care about the nation and their own well-being. So I went to the Peterborough one where our congressman is from, Charlie Bass, and they put on a wonderful, like organized gathering. It was mostly for the locals, for awareness of what's going on in their nation and abroad. But I decided to go. I'm unemployed right now, and it was really wonderful. It was like poetry in motion. They had bridges all over the place in Peterborough, and people went out to the respective bridges, and it was about bridges to work. It was about fixing the infrastructure so people get some jobs, get some money, get some food, and and it was really like a class act that the town got together and probably brought in a little bit of revenue. I think I went to their diner and had dinner, but and I mean, that's what I like to see, like, people, and it was all about togetherness, like, together, we're all in this together. So, you know, we're as strong as our weakest link. So I was just like, I really applauded Peterborough for what they did, and, yeah, so I'm just here in solidarity with the other 99% and hopes that we can make change and we can only improve.
Did I hand you the minutes from last week's meeting?
Yes.
And can we read those as part of the format? And I need them to construct a format here. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for all the time.
Was the last GA last week?
Yeah. Well, technically Wednesday. Cheers. So this is the minutes of the Wednesday meeting.
Was it last Wednesday, 2 days ago? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. This is last Wednesday. So I'm going to go ahead and read the minutes. So, matter of fact, I think we get the recording secretary's job to read the minutes.
I'd rather not get people too formal. That's me. I'm not formal.
I'm sorry.
I don't.
Well, I want to read them because that's
I
part of the
wasn't even
protocol.
there.
Okay.
Sorry,
no,
folks.
right. Okay.
I had other things too.
Meeting was at Cheers on 11/15. Number of attendance 7 people. This was a public GA meeting. It was announced on the website. Old business was none. New business. We set up an agenda list. Item 1 on the agenda list was by Judy Stedman. She's a professional organizer with the IBEW. She's really our godsend because she knows how to organize. That's one of our big important items to get this off the ground. New Hampshire's Occupy movement is going to have a big future, and these people know how to get us there. We have to move indoors, so these are the kind of things we're talking about. Her proposal was hold a New Hampshire Occupy statewide assembly. This is to actually lay down the ground or the foundation, so to speak, of a GA that would, whose sole purpose is to support the other GAs. That may sound strange, but we don't want to have a hierarchy whereby they give orders, but give support. This would be it. Now, so I'm going to read the purpose here. For the purpose of establishing unity and coordination of the individual GA action groups, okay? And she proposed that we hold this assembly at a and because it's a central location. The tentative date was December 4th. How you doing? We're having a meeting here. This is the GA. Okay, and so this is very interesting. We should bring this to discussion. Yeah. I'm sorry, this is a meeting. You can't talk out of turn. You have to recognize the talk. I'm reading minutes. No problem. We all have to learn what GA is. Okay, consensus was arrived at. Now an action item. Now it's an action item to be worked on by so-called committee. This committee, certainly Judith Stedman is talking to me and everybody else who's at this to come up with a final proposal. And at the probably next GA meeting, it will probably be determined exactly when it is. We can talk about this, but right now it's just I'm making it as part of the minute. So we will no doubt bring this up as our agenda today. The next agenda item was a general discussion on the ongoing search for an indoor meeting place for Occupy Concord. A hit list from the Concord Library is being worked on. The ideal location will be studied and finalized for a future GA meeting. There'll be much discussion on that too today. Okay, announcements. The announcement is this meeting. So in the 8:55, the next weekday GA will be held at the American Friends office, which is right in this building here at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. It's 4 Park Street. Yeah, it is. This is a convenient location across the street from north of the Capitol. 9 o'clock meeting is adjourned. Is there any discussion about the minutes? Questions? Okay, we'll just move on now. That's the idea to have. Sure. Blow away. well, don't let it get to you because we are only beginning, and our phones are ringing off the wall. There's so much going on. I got 3 hours sleep this morning. I worked all night long. I put 20 signs up all over Concord today. Yeah, we don't have even 20 people here, but this is only beginning. You know, people don't understand us or even respect us yet. They will because we speak their language. I have no doubts about that.
They have no idea what's going on.
No, they don't as yet.
Media just not.
So just to stay on some kind of a format here with this meeting, I'm going to read the Statement of Nonviolence, which is approved on the 9/11 GA. It starts out by saying our attitude, as conveyed through words, symbols, actions, will be one of openness, friendliness, respect towards all people we encounter, including police officers, members of the larger community, and all occupiers. We will not assault. Item 1, we will not assault you verbally or physically those who oppose us, disagree with us, even if they assault us. We will protect those who oppose us from insult or attack. We will not vandalize. We will maintain human compassion, respect, and most of all, dignity towards one and all at all times. Because intoxication will not forward our movement, we will not be under the influence of alcohol or illegal drugs, nor will we carry them while taking part in Occupy. It says Occupy New Hampshire, so I don't know why it says. Okay, well this is actually Occupy Concord. If a person is unable to comply with the above items, they will be removed. They shall remove themselves from the Occupy event. If they are breaking the law and fail to leave, the police will be called. So that's our so-called statement of nonviolence. It was an extraction from a Columbia, Missouri Occupy group, and a few items were modified, namely the alcohol and guns. The gun issue was virtually dropped. We wanted to make it a non-issue. If you saw me come here with a shotgun, everybody would walk away, I'm sure. We don't want guns. If we make a statement, we know we're going to draw the gun lobbyist people, the NRA diehards that have a legal right to carry a gun. Even they can go into the state capitol now legally with weapons. And that means loaded weapons. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see that. That's not what we are about. A peace-loving group certainly doesn't want to see weapons in any form. And it was pointed out that it's what between the ears that is a real killing weapon, not the total knife or the gun or the club. So enough on that. We should.
Well, I have a question about that, or is that like part of the agenda discussing?
Okay, no, this was just an idea to read this as a format. This is other than the fact that it's adopted the statement of nonviolence.
Because I'd say I agreed with all of it, and like talking about having respect for all people, regardless of their position towards us. I think it's kind of like taking a step forward, though, to say like we will call the police if there's some sort of law breaking, because that's kind of placing an onus upon the group as one that would use the police to solve problems that aren't necessarily violent problems. I think if somebody came here and sat over there and started smoking a joint while we were having our meeting, it has nothing to do with the meeting.
Exactly.
We don't need to address it.
Yeah, that's subject to certainly common sense. I think the moderator would fall on him to determine if the person was actually, if he was standing in the circle with the group, he'd be considered part of us, and in that case it would be his option to ask him to leave. And I think this will happen because people will try to test this, just like we said no guns, people will try to test it. It's an illegal act, smoking a joint in public.
But I wouldn't call the police on something.
Well, no, you wouldn't. But here, this statement says the police will be called. It's not even an option.
Well, that's saying that someone will
if they are breaking the law and fail to leave, let's leave marijuana, which is a hot issue out of it.
Well, I think that's a good theoretical issue because it is one that.
Okay, the point is, we have a statement that's been agreed upon. Okay, if you want to call this, which is GA, we technically could tear this piece of paper up here and now. But next Wednesday it's going to be stuck right back down.
So where do you think is the best place to have like intelligent discussion on the ideas put forth there?
Right here.
Because I think we may want that to be evolving.
This is so beautiful.
I'm not necessarily proposing any changes yet. I'm just calling into question.
No, this is exactly the power of what a GA is. It's a miracle that there's simplicity of it. We can do anything. We can decide to break the law with this GA right here and now. not saying that would happen. Common sense
No,
would
it
always rule, okay? And this was established at the last 3 GAs. This was formatted and modified and brought forth, and it's posted, I believe, in a friend's Facebook, or it should be posted, I'm sure. But this is kind of one of our planks, the very first one of this.
I don't feel free.
Excuse me?
I don't feel free.
You got more to say about it? That's quite a bold statement.
If that's how I feel.
Okay,
About what?
are you
Currently-
impressed by me talking?
In the United States?
Okay, what are we talking about? Is this topic covering this? I mean, you probably...
How I feel right at this given moment.
No, you came up with a statement. Is this to do with our nonviolent statement? Are you bringing up new subjects? I'm trying to... I want to table this as
Oh, okay, we're not done with this particular.
technically. You
Okay.
tried to say that if it has to do with this, you're welcome.
Oh, so maybe I go like this or that.
Well, no. Okay, point of information.
Yeah.
If you want to make a statement, but if you want to bring up a new subject as proposed to talk about it, you certainly can. Nobody should inhibit. If I talk too much, it's only because maybe somebody else. You raised your hand, I stopped instantly. Okay, to recognize you. You made a very interesting statement. I wanted to find out if it had to do with this, or if it is
Nothing much.
it's a new
I gotta go
subject
print some
we
things
want to
out.
go to.
That's why I bought this,
Because
so I
we
can get some
certainly
money.
can talk about anything.
You guys want
Thank
Chex
you.
Mix? I'm good, dude.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I will. Thank you.
I'll have some when I get back. I got a bag of
So what's your name?
I'm Chris.
Chris, nice to meet you. Could we pass this around?
Thank you. Thanks.
Chris, we have a sign-up list. If you want to give your name or contact information, we want people to know they're part of us. We certainly have, we'll post information and announcements via email, and we got a website, or not a website, well, an online service called Post to Us. It's a very awkward word. It's POSTOUS. POSTOR, I believe US. It's weird, but it's a free service and enables us to communicate amongst ourselves. So Meredith, we're trying to stay focused on. That's a good statement. Do you want to embellish that?
Oh, it was getting a little too formatted, a little too rigid.
Well,
That's a good move right there. I think
Oh,
that's
I've
the
seen
nature
it.
of
I've seen it.
abiding by
That's
decisions that have
unbelievable.
already been made
I
and
agree.
sort of...
Read it.
Yes.
no,
Here we go.
in
How's
order.
it going? Welcome.
Read it. Get the book out of the library.
If you're interested in being part of our group, just give us an email or whatever. If not, you can stay in the buildings.
I think Occupy, like, I think Slack's like...
What this is
Sign your name and
Occupy Concord.
your name, email address, so we can contact you.
Fourth Saturday, we met right here. We're going indoors. We are searching for facilities right now. There's a number of locations that have already said yes at no cost.
That's
We
incredible.
meet also on Wednesday, last
I have a...
3 Wednesdays we met in Cheers at 7
Oh, all right.
This coming
Yeah.
Wednesday, we're going to meet in the Friends office right here across the street.
Oh my
Charge
word.
batteries like
Everybody's
that
welcome.
big.
They're, it's what we call a GA agency. It's a very loose, formatted type of organization. It's just to make you familiar with Occupy.
And so it keeps you warm, or what's
Yeah,
it,
it
how
gets
we
my
do
power
it?
heater. Because these are the flags that fly over the wars.
It's energy source. So you have
Sure, this is priceless. Love to hear what's going on down there. I was at UNH Thursday, having their little gathering. And
Yeah, I'd
a
agree.
lot of people thought they were busy with finals. We didn't have a permit to be there. So they asked us to sign for a bit of permit. So we've been there now. But we got names. We had 9 names sign up. And they are organizing an operation right there called Occupy UNH So it's whatever you hear. Wait a minute. Everybody's probably going to turn in on
Mendola? Who's Mendola?
bring you all together for
just letting it be a free flow meeting.
Basically, you mentioned the same. It basically keeps you
Right, you got to bring people in first.
Huh.
And this idea that
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order again. We're drifting off. The only reason we do this is not to interrupt you people. It's that we can't conduct the meeting
That's happening.
without everybody has the equal right to speak, and you're invited to use that. We're not going to play games where you talk for 5 minutes, so I can talk for 5 minutes. We'll let you talk until you're done talking. And if you're talking to everybody, well, certainly the time to do it. If you're talking to one person, usually step away and talk to them. But Meredith is currently talking. She's acting as a recording secretary. She's been here to a number of events. She's one of our stalwart activists. You had a statement, very interesting stuff. Hi there. Are you with us? Are you been signed up, or are you?
I'm not signed up.
Okay, you're new.
I'm definitely.
Good. This is what we love to hear. We love contact information. We're holding a meeting right now. Meredith will. Yeah. And Meredith also has a question on the table here. She made a statement that she didn't feel free, and that's a loaded statement, and it's certainly worth pursuing. And this is the time to do it.
Okay. Yeah, because this is a group effort. We're a team or a group today, and we're to keep the peace. We hear all our voices and have respect, and we do have certain rules, though. We do one person speaks at a time. That starts to be yelling and arguing, and we want peace. This is a peace movement, and we want change, and we want it's about people's rights. So when someone is, what's that? So we do have what we call people's mic. When someone is talking, they'll say talk in short sentences, and people would repeat just to make sure.
Mic check. Okay, that would be the code to everybody stop and they repeat what Meredith was saying. And it's a lot of fun, and you probably know more about how to run a meeting than any of us here do. It's new to me. Excuse me? Yeah, call and response, because a bunch of, and normally if I was organized, I'd have a way to explain it, so we could go through a list of maybe 10 different so-called commands, and they're informal and they differ. It's a little sit-down group. You might raise your finger to talk, or in a big group you call stack, and you put your name on a list, and that's a sequence of talking. So, Hadi, join us if you like. This is our Concord, Occupy Concord. You've been here before?
yeah.
Please meet me. I'm acting moderator. And Meredith has currently had a statement. She came out with a bold statement, I don't feel free, and we're trying to find out what she's really talking about by that statement. But, and we're currently talking about how to conduct a meeting. I'm not the expert. What's your name, please?
Garrett.
Garrett has been to virtually to every GA that probably has been in New Hampshire, I think. And he's more than familiar with how it works. But as Meredith said, in order to talk and have everybody hear you, and it's very important in a large crowd, you'd say mic check, and what she says gets repeated by everybody else, okay? And I've been on the internet whereby mic check is repeated 3 or 4 times. It's like an echo, okay? So if she makes a statement, I don't feel free, then already if people are in mic check format, everybody else says, I don't feel free, then she'll add to it. And it's exciting in a sense. If a proposal's on the floor and it's talked about and it's time to vote and you're not happy with the proposal, you cross your arms like this. This means it's a blocking movement, and it means that you're threatening to leave the organization if this item is approved. Now you fully have the right to do that and leave, but the consensus being that everybody's going to work hard to satisfy that individual with the block movement, okay? He has, the right to talk for a limited time for sure, and then it goes on. There's other things that we do. If you're in consensus, and even before we ask for consensus, you might do that to see people wiggling their fingers, okay? And that means either they love the remarks you just made.
Well, I was, this is kind of a small group. I was saying I don't feel free because Bob was talking about the minutes that were being held on Wednesday night. I wasn't able to go on Wednesday night. I had other plans, so it was kind of, it's relevant, but really not relevant to me. I didn't. I guess point of order. I didn't like that format. I felt like the wool was being pulled over my eyes a bit, not necessarily intentionally. It was just, I'm here to talk. I'm here to listen, but I'm here for here and now and the future. That's kind of passé, or it could have been brought up in a little more informal manner.
Okay, the reason for the minutes, reading the minutes of the previous GA, is to bring continuity to our function here. That's how simple it is. If you have minutes that's recorded and they become an official record, you can go back a month and say, so-and-so passed on this, why aren't we enforcing it? It's that simple. It's done everywhere. Every kind of organization has minutes and they read the minutes at the next GA. Go ahead.
This is a new organization. This is an active, growing organization. It's not, it's without boundaries. I mean, I have minutes from a GA or a meeting I went to too, but I don't have it written down, and I'd like to talk about it. I'd like to share it with you. I guess I have a discrepancy between the formality and informality.
Okay, is there anybody are you done, Meredith, on the subject?
Yes.
Is there anybody else who wants to cover this subject? Okay,
well, I'm for here and now and moving forward.
Yeah, we all are. We all are. Any more discussion?
Well, on that subject, I was just thinking it may have seemed kind of constricting because I thought it was a particularly long statement for a GA to come up with that quickly for the Concord GA to make.
We're talking about the minutes right now, not the statement of policy or a piece.
Okay.
Okay, that's already been passed on. If you want to bring that up.
No, I guess I was sort of connecting the two because the minutes become more important when the subject matter that comes about as a consequence of those minutes becomes like more involved. So I think there may be like a little bit of a connection. Like the minutes seem maybe more rigid because there's a lot more at stake as far as what's being put forth at this point. But I don't know. It's just my spin on it or my look into it.
Well, this is very interesting. I don't know if someone's going to make a proposal to say we do not record minutes or we do not read minutes. I don't really think you're saying that. You say you don't feel free, and I think it's a relationship to the fact that we're trying to structure this meeting. Okay, we're reading minutes. We certainly didn't have a proposal that stated we would read minutes. It was strictly my idea.
Oh, it's just an idea.
Okay. We said the pledge at the last GA here, and that was actually part of the proposal of the previous Wednesday night GA. So, but if somebody objects to taking minutes and reading minutes, I would like accept it as a proposal and we can vote on it. That's how we do things here. It's so important. Meredith has the right to say what she thinks, and if you want to make a proposal, Meredith, do you choose? Okay, with a hand, go ahead.
Well, I missed the initial portion of the discussion.
Welcome, sir.
But I just feel, I feel in this organization where a number of people come and go, you know, people don't, there's no requirement that people have to come to all General Assemblies.
Exactly.
This could be people's 20th General Assembly or their first. And they're all just as welcome. That if a proposal is made and voted on, or consensus vote to do something at the first General Assembly or not to do something, then it doesn't really seem productive to not have those recorded somehow. And then at the 20th General Assembly we end up potentially all over again trying to work out that same item that we might have hit in the first session.
I think you had a valid point. If we had to vote and make a motion for everything we do, you'd be voting on refreshments, bathroom breaks, everything, and that becomes inhibiting. I think I tried to explain the reason we have minutes is because it brings continuity to the people that aren't there. Our founder, Sherry Gould, I talked to her not a half hour ago, and she couldn't make this meeting. She lives up in, I believe, Hillsborough, and she had an announcement that I'll get into later, but I think it's a valid statement, and it points to an anxiety that we all share here. We're here because we don't feel free, okay? And I think it's part of the minutes that you're recording to make that statement and maybe note what the discussion is about. If there's no motion that you want us to vote on, we'll go on to the next agenda item, which would probably be announcements. Meredith, you content with that? Okay, I appreciate you bringing it up. If this is awkward for me, I don't want to be the spokesman here. Sean is our regular spokesperson. He's a gifted organizer, and he's got the head screwed on tight. I've had 3 hours sleep. I worked all last night. I put 20 signs up around Concord, and they virtually disappeared because it's such a big area. But there's at least 2 McDonald's down here in the south end.
I saw some on the way here.
Good.
Yeah, there's some right off the highway.
I'm gonna go get
Yeah,
those
yeah.
papers.
All right,
There's only one. 2 weeks ago, I put up 10 signs, and they're little. They're no bigger than this sheet here. And the only one that's still left is on the off-ramp southbound at this exit right here. Meredith, good information. Thank you for bringing it forward. I hope we explained. As Bruce, we gave a fair hearing. So we're all learning what this GA is all about. The next thing I'll go to is an agenda announcement period. We usually have the announcements in the beginning and toward the end as information comes forward. Sherry Gould, as I said, is our founder, and she would be probably the moderator, or she said use the word facilitator here today. We loathe titles because we're all technically equal, but she said that there's a lady by the name of
Well, Bob's.
yeah, her name is.
While you're doing that?
Okay, no, this is an
I
announcement that's only take a second, and like I'm here actually doing the minutes for this meeting to read them, to have them printed, and she told me that a lady by the name of Teresa Earl, who was at Organized, or was part of Organized Boston.org, is now living in Henniker, New Hampshire, close to where Sherry lives, and she is definitely very excited about New Hampshire's Occupy movement, and apparently she's a young lady, younger than Sherry Gould, who's probably my age, and she's going to probably be a vibrant force. She's got organizing experience, and like I said, there's more here than I can even explain, but I assume she'll be at our Wednesday G8, which is again being held right here at the Friends office. The other lady of renown is a lady by the name of Judy Stedman, S-T-E-D-T-M-E-N, I believe. She's a media officer from the AFL-CIO, and she has made a proposal, and we talked about it when I read the minutes, and that'll be part of this meeting here, I think, shortly. We should bring up her subject as to either support or take action on it. That is, she's trying to foment a statewide General Assembly whereby everybody comes together. It doesn't have to be every Occupy person, but every Occupy group should be represented, and the purpose of that meeting is to form a central GA whose sole purpose is to enable all the other GAs. It's not meant to form a central organization for everybody to supersede or even replace the other GAs, but to give support to them. Our whole secret in what we're doing is organization, and she is one of these professionals whose bio is like 50-some different things that she's been active in and done. So these are the people we look toward. And that's it on announcements. Anybody have new business they want to bring up? Or?
Oh, did you want to speak on earlier?
Oh, I don't know. That was just a contention about being free. I guess that's the main point why we're here. This is the United States of America. That's what brought me here. I feel free, and I like to come out and talk with everybody. I went to a meeting, an occupation meeting in Peterborough, where Charlie Bass is from. He's our congressman. And speaking about organization, they did a phenomenal job. This town is beautiful. It's just picturesque, beautiful town and garden type stuff. They have bridges and water, and their organized meeting was called Bridges to Work. And it was like poetry in motion. It was mostly for the locals, and it was about awareness about, what's going on, what needs to change in the United States. And it was about infrastructure to jobs, not welfare, more jobs, and it was just beautiful. It was really well orchestrated and organized, well planned and executed, and we set the stage. New Hampshire starts the primaries. We get going, and New Hampshire is looking pretty good in comparison to the rest of the states, I so believe. And so if we want to portray ourselves as we kind of are, which is not, I see it as not too bad. But I don't know what other people, I know there's a lot of welfare out there and so forth, and that needs to be addressed. That needs to, and we set the stage, and we need to, when these primaries and potential presidents come through, these are some of the issues that need to be discussed, and so.
This is, I guess, a general discussion here. You feel free to jump in on anything, and if we want to formalize it, if somebody's got an idea, they want to propose something, then we can throw our heads into it and do what GAs do, and we're all on the learning curve here. So if there's a statement, somebody wants to say something, maybe somebody wants to just say who they are and where they're from and what they expect out of this fabulous.
Well, thanks. I just wanted to touch base and I'm glad to hear that the Peterborough event was such a success. I unfortunately had a busy day and couldn't make it. And you mentioned that New Hampshire doesn't seem to be as bad off as the rest of the country, which is true. Even prior to the recession, New Hampshire has always been, economically better than the national average. I think at one point our unemployment rate was like 1% or something like that. The nation now is about 10%. We're at 5%, which is still, for those that are in that 5% and that don't even fall into the numerical categories that have fallen off the grid. It doesn't matter whether it's 5% or 10 or 20%. They're still suffering. And our leadership is doing things to make it tougher for them, cutting supports and things like that. So then the disparity within New Hampshire still has that disparity. We've got one of the highest proportion of millionaires in the state per capita in this state than any other state in the country, but so we've still got that disparity of the haves and the have-nots, which I think one of our focuses is paying attention to. So you're right, we aren't on average we aren't as bad off as the rest of the country, but those that are feeling the effects are still forgotten.
You can, if there's a lot of people talking and you want to be the next one to talk. It really works. They got stacked for big meetings. You get on a list.
Yeah,
they
right.
formally write your name down. Here, I think just raising one finger means you want to talk next, and I, as moderator, certainly will acknowledge you. I'll just make one statement. If you haven't signed a contact list and you want to, this is it here. We love getting names so we can give announcements, and there's issues. Some people get too many emails, so we have to filter out that if you just want to receive announcements of the next meeting or whatever, that would be where and when. But they're still working on those details. So.
Is the forum being used yet at Occupy NH? Is there a Concord sub-forum?
I don't know if it's been done yet. I have written in the forum. This is a Occupy New Hampshire's website, a beautiful website. They've got a forum, a very formal one that you can write in and make statements. It's a tool that we have to learn how to use, but we don't have one per se yet.
Because I thought the idea was going to be they just make a sub-forum for us on there, and I think that would be ideal for keeping track of minutes and things that go on at meetings. It's a lot easier than bouncing emails back and forth constantly.
Yeah,
it's
well,
just posting it all there for people
that
to...
is probably going to be done. We just haven't formalized it yet. But the other thing is we have the Post to Us Space, which is an internal messaging system. We can upload documents, Word and Excel, things like that, to send out, distribute as a. In this case, it's private. It's not public, so people that sign up to it can be on it. Technically, there's nothing private in Occupy. You'll learn that everybody wants everything transparent. I won't show you my IRS form, but other than that, what we decide here will always be available to everybody, which is kind of strange. But The post-it space is considered private because you have to submit an email. You can't go online to get to it, and it's a unique tool. Is what it amounts to.
She wants to talk. She wants to talk.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's your
Well,
name,
now
please?
I'll introduce myself first. I'm Judy Gardner. I'm from Durham. This is my first Occupy. Well, I visited one in Portland, Maine, but it's my first GA. I really wanted to experience a GA, and I've been involved in the political process the last few years. Helped put Carol J. Porter into office a few years ago. But I don't see the answers coming to us through the political parties because of all the things that Occupy recognizes as problematic. And so I am thrilled that Occupy came into being. I felt like the only way we can restructure our society is through the 99% becoming exactly what you people are. So I'm so glad you're here. I'm having trouble getting notices of what's going on where because I'm old enough to I have a Facebook account, but I don't really use it yet, and I know that I have to do that. If I sign here, will I get what you were just talking about? Will I get on some kind of list? So I'll
Okay,
get
I'll try to answer your question. It'll probably be a dialogue. I attended the UNH/Durham.
Oh yeah, I was there.
You were?
With the students that rainy Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Did you see me?
I guess I did see you,
Yeah,
but I didn't know you.
Okay,
So.
I'll repeat it for anybody that walked up. UNH Durham had a scheduled event. It turned out an Occupy event. It's an organizational thing because they don't really have per se, a normal, regular Occupy group. It's a lot of college students are interested in it. So a guy by the name of Pete, which his name is on our list. I received it, and he's going to probably act as a moderator to organize it and hold our first meeting. I don't know when, but you put your name as Durham and interested in that group there, and we definitely will get the word to him. I'll give him your email.
Yeah, I did sign up the email, but it was raining. I don't know if it's
Yeah, well,
readable.
your name is probably
And
there.
Alex
Only one
knows
wasn't readable, I believe. And I looked at this list of the people who signed today, and there's one that I can't read, and probably I put a question mark by it. It's Chris, I believe. Rockman, is it? Who signed that?
Oh, he took off. Chris
Okay,
Ross.
well that's almost illegible. I don't know if we'll be able to use that. But yet you really have to take the time to realize that not everybody's
It's a little
going to...
tough.
RockmanChris@gmail.com.
Yeah, I think it's
maybe
R-O-C-K. You want me to write it up here? I think
No,
it's-
that's all right.
Okay.
Sherry
Somebody
will be
figure it out.
probably the one to interpret this stuff, and that list
Okay.
goes to her.
Great.
But there's a vibrant group down there. One guy came from Maine, and he's ran for Senate, so he's really got his head screwed on. He seems to understand what Occupy is all about. I'm sure he may attend your meetings. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of. We're looking for leaders. That's why we want all the different Occupy groups forming in every town and village and maybe business. A factory might have an Occupy group form up, but this is our vibrance, our strength. People says, I want to be part of this. I'm a worker, or I'm a leader, or I'm both. We welcome it. This is so strange. Hey, you want to talk? You want to talk? Hey, talk. I don't want to talk. I want to build boats. I'm not into this stuff. This is not my world. I'm going to retire December 31st, so I'll have more time to do other things. But the environment was my cause after boat building, and right now the politics is what's destroying the environment. You can't get a politician to do anything right. And there's a boat. I'll give a plug for the boats now. There's a gondola being built in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It's going to be launched December 10th. I'm a member of that organization. It's a 60-foot sailing barge, you describe it as. It's being built so the public can sail on it. It's a $700,000 project. The total money needed for the project was $1.2 million. It's being built at Strawberry Bank. Enough said. There's my plug. It's all good. Can we add? Someone else wants to talk? Sir, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm from Reno, Nevada, so I'm visiting.
Wow.
I've been to 3 Occupy General Assemblies, Reno, Sacramento, and Eugene, Oregon, where I was just at last week. And they have a huge, vibrant, the General Assembly was almost 200 people.
Yeah.
And a couple of things I want to say that I've observed. I like the fact that there are no leaders. And leaders are good, though. I mean, if somebody comes in and in that moment, they can do something potent, that's awesome, and they should be empowered to do so. but they should be able to be immediately recalled if they're not. I mean, the idea is that leaders are leaders, but once they say, hey, I'm the leader now. No, you're not. You were a leader in that moment. So the idea is that this is a vibrant, organic, flowing sort of movement. And again, what I want to say here is it's the process. The fact that everybody is here today has an opportunity. You, all of us have a say. We can feel fully empowered to be a part of that process. Can anybody here tell me the first time in their whole life, or the last time, that they felt that their voice was actually heard in Washington, D.C.? Even remotely?
No way.
Not once, right? So here, we are being the change that we want to be. As Gandhi said, we need to be the change we want to be. By being here and all talking to each other, we are seeing this process come about organically. You talk, I talk, we talk. And wouldn't it be awesome if the whole country worked this way? That the way we have our political process now is like, no, the whole world, the whole country is a General Assembly in some organic, fluid way where everybody's voices are being heard on a local level, on a regional level, on a national level. And that way, corporations aren't coming in saying, oh, they're people, we have a right. And it's like, no, every human being has that power, is empowered fully to feel that their voice is heard and that change happens because of that. Has anybody here seen the movie Gandhi? If you haven't seen it, I highly, highly, highly recommend it, because Mahatma Gandhi, one guy, non-violently, peacefully freed in his entire country from the British Empire, 350 million people, through peaceful non-violence. And there's so many different specific tactics that he used to free his country. And right now, I don't see that really happening in the Occupy movement, unfortunately. It's because there's no leader. Nobody's stepping up and trying to do that. Imagine, for example, if 25,000 people, there was 30,000 people in Manhattan last, on the 17th, 3 days ago? And they managed to fail. They failed to take the stock exchange. But they could have done it, because imagine if you had 30,000 people, half of them dressed in suits and ties, like this gentleman right here, okay? Dressed in suits and ties, and they all started walking on Watt Street. They didn't chant, they didn't throw signs, they weren't provocative, they weren't slowing serves, they weren't pounding drums. They just calmly, quietly, relaxingly walked into the stock market. How are 400 or 1,000 NYPD guys going to stop 30,000 people from walking into the stock exchange?
There would have been violence for sure.
Yes, there would. And in Gandhi there was. They'll beat these people, but make sure you have cameras on it. Make sure the whole world sees the violence of the system, and sees that here are peaceful people just walking, and watch the NYPD. And some of these people are going to get bloodied. There might even be death. But the people will continue walking, and they will lose the moral high ground, and that will bring millions of people to this cause. Anyway, that's all I had to say.
That's funny, thank you.
I'd like to make a comment on that.
You try to get the media to cover that. They won't cover that.
That's why we got to be
You
the
too.
media.
30,000.
We are the media.
No. Rupert Murdoch isn't media.
No, we can be the media.
That's only if you're watching TV. If you're using the internet.
The internet.
Not reading any newspaper.
This
Right here.
This is the
media.
We are the media.
Quoting you
We are
live.
the media. I put this picture. I can take a video. I can put it up on YouTube. I mean, last week something really cool happened. Is somebody finally put a camera up on a high building down on Zuccotti Square, and that way it's now being live streamed continuously to the internet. And people like Al Jazeera are picking up on it. CNBC, actually CNN, took the live feed from some guy in his apartment and broadcast that on national television, but it was just some guy in an apartment streaming it onto the internet. So we can become the media. And what happens is, sure, they're going to want to ignore us. Gandhi said, first they'll ignore you, then they'll
Laugh at you.
laugh at you, then they'll fight you, which is where they're at now, and then we win.
Exactly.
Well, I just want to say that's what the media was for Arab Spring.
Yes.
It was just people with their cell phones or their cameras
Exactly.
like
They
this.
shut the internet down in
They put
Egypt.
grainy pictures on the internet, and
And
that's how the
They shut the
information
internet
got.
down in Egypt, and people still managed to come to Tahrir Square. They heard about it from people. They go, we got to go to Tahrir Square.
Took tons of names and submitted them, and it influenced the politicians to keep the internet free for now. So we have to keep working on things like
Yeah,
that.
there's a couple of bills
To what
now they're
extent
trying
is
to
the
shut
internet
down.
free right now, though?
What?
To what extent is the internet free right now, though?
Well, they have not been able to privatize it at all. It's free.
Yes and no.
Technically, yeah.
You know.
There's
I mean,
surveillance, for example. I mean, you pretty much assume that anything you do on the internet is being monitored by some government agency. And second of all, they are trying to control it. They're going to use copyright, and for example,
Some people are. I don't
there's
think
there's 3 bills going through Congress right now where they're going to use it as an opportunity, and he knows about it too, where they're going to try to shut down websites that are in copyright infringement. Or if you link to a site that is in copyright, because like I have a blog, I have 500 links. If that means that any of the 500 sites that I link to puts up copyrighted material, not only will they take that site down, but they take my site down. So here's the thing: you put up a big website. Look, Occupy, come to come to Concord, New Hampshire. We're gonna have a big Occupy. Oh nope, they're violating copyright. Boom, they shut the site down. They're trying to do that right now, unfortunately.
Okay, I just thought you say they. You're talking about government.
Congress, United States
Okay,
Congress.
Congress. Okay, now
There's a
we're
bill.
talking the House and the Senate. But the point is, my personal opinion is, if we make the government the enemy, we lose.
I agree.
We want to change government. We want to get the money out of Congress.
Right.
We don't want these people to, even Obama, who I vote for, needs $1 billion to run for office. This is sick. It's
Right.
destroying the fabric of America. The $3 limit per voter should be it. And if they can't apply for that money, we should not elect them. That alone is our strength. When we become a real force in New Hampshire here, watch somebody run for a primary and find out that Occupy is against them. They're going to change their tune. Not so for me.
I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Mark Gold, and I live in Concord, and was just walking by with my friend.
Did you sign our list, sir?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I just happened to be walking by, so I
Super.
really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I'd definitely like to sign up.
You're welcome. Yeah. We're at the stage where we're asking for people that if they want to get involved, they want to help, if they have a particular skill. Some people are artistic, some people know how to do graphic work, some people are just organizational gurus. They love getting name lists and working out details, and some people are just poets at heart. They want to and that's me. I want to write poetry, and I do that. I've probably written like 50 poems since 2000, but I can't sit down and write a poem. It's got to be a passion moment, and a long story, I'm not going to talk about myself, but my favorite poem, well, my current favorite one of my newest poems written about a year ago is called Tainted Tea. I can't recite it. I don't even think I have a copy of it here, but I give it away to anybody that wants to read it. It's like 2 pages long. It's not a short poem. But my poems rhyme. That's the last thing I'll say, by the way. It's not just pretty thoughts.
Well, this stuff works, I mean, I guess the power of the people, coming together. They're going to be drilling in Alaska, weren't they, for oil? Not too long ago. They're ready. And there are people that were standing out in front of the White House. Obama heard that, and
the pipeline coming from Canada down through to Texas, no less. They're connecting the tar sands fields to the refineries in Texas. It's a disaster, and I'm not an authority on the subject, but my thing to do is to capture information, create a Word document with it. I do this as a matter of venting my frustration. I will be posting everything that I create a Word document in my my mail list, which is called truthbegold@yahoo.com. If I get your email, I won't take it from this work, but if I get it and you want to receive my, maybe eventually there'll be weekly postings of captured online documents. This may be a good question about copyright violations, because I don't seek permission, but it's usually something from Think Progress or something like that, or Huffington Press, that just something that just lights my fire, and I love the detail. I capture it, I add markup, change the font. I hate New Times Roman. I love Arial and Tacoma and a few of the other fonts that I will convert to, but if you want it, I certainly would love to share the stuff with you.
Did you have more to say?
No, I just wanted to introduce myself, and like I said, I was just walking by, and I'll start by going to the website.
Okay, we're having a meeting next Wednesday at this friend's office right here at 7 o'clock. There's seating for like 20 people. We don't even have 20 here, so anybody that gets there first is going to have a chair.
And
if it becomes standing room only, we can probably go to 30 people, but right here. We've been eating at
the second floor.
We've been meeting at Cheers on Wednesdays. We sit at a table and we buy food to kind of keep ourselves welcome there, and it was decided that we ought to keep looking for other places. We are actively looking for a Saturday GA assembly point indoors, and there's a number of halls, the union halls I'm pursuing right now to get nailed down and permission to meet. So it's all good. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm freezing, so I gotta close my coat. But first I gotta show you my shirt, because several people have said things that relate to this. 1 times a million equals change. I want to respond to what you said earlier about New Hampshire being in fairly decent shape. But when you look at our educational investment, we're way down at the bottom. And when you look at our legislature, we're in terrible shape. So I just thought of some exceptions to saying that New Hampshire isn't so bad off. We're in trouble.
Would you say systemational investment as in how much money is put in, or the product of the education system?
Well, the first that New Hampshire does not support education, public education at all. They've just withdrawn the meager support that they gave to the University of New Hampshire.
We've got the highest in-state tuition of any state.
And that's why, because of course we don't have a state income tax, and so we don't fund certain things like education, which is crucial, in my opinion.
No public kindergarten.
Yeah, it took forever to get it. And so as they withdraw more and more funds, the quality, there are more kids in the classroom, and fewer arts and things get offered, and so the quality of the institution, the public institution, deteriorates. So in that respect, we've got a long way to go. But that's part of the whole privatization and public space issue. Any kind of public anything has been denigrated by the right wing, and they're trying to privatize everything. Education is one of those big crucial public things, I think. So that was...
They've cut a tremendous amount too from the New Hampshire Public Radio. New Hampshire Public Broadcasting. It's been terrible. It's absolutely terrible. The only decent programming in terms of to be found on most stations, as far as I'm concerned. But we were in a group of retired people, and I was never really that active or upset before until I got into this retired group, and they are so discouraged of what's happening in this country for the children and for the young people in this country. From what we've had growing up to what is available for you people, it's absolutely terrible. And we read the book Kabuki Democracy and discuss that each week. And if you haven't read that book, absolutely read it. It'll just put the fire under you like you've never had before, to see the corruption that's going on.
It's by Eric Alterman, who's a
Author for the Nation.
Right, he writes for the Nation, and he's press news commentator.
We initially started talking about past minutes and from here to the here and beyond, but I mean obviously we can learn from the past too. Like I just got a master's degree in education, and a lot of my coursework was in the field. I actually had to go in the classroom and see how it's done, and it to me, like a lot of more of the elementary type schools, has become an unemployment haven for people. They've been taking people off the streets so that they could do one-on-one with other students, and part of the No Child Left Behind, and I don't know, it just became, the whole emphasis of school was lost. The point of school is to learn. They're our future. The children are our future, and that is paramount. We have to care about all. No Child Left Behind. We want all people on board, but the objective of education is to learn, and somehow I think that got lost. And another thing about the past is when we were talking about like some TV shows and just morality and who's sponsoring these TV shows, and about money, and it's almost become our god, the television. And I don't have cable. I can't afford cable. I have a master's degree in education. I'm currently unemployed. So I can't even afford cable, and I find myself a much happier person anyway. So
you have the internet though, right?
I do.
Yeah.
So I can get in touch with Occupy and 99%. So. It's free though, because I have a wireless card, so I'm like getting off on other people's
Oh, perfect. Yeah, there you go.
service.
When we grew up, we didn't even have to pay for television. And we didn't have to pay for the ads coming in our house every day. It was just overwhelming. And I remember my father saying, I would never wear any clothing with a logo on it from the manufacturer. You're giving them free advertising. And you know, that's what their idea was of growing up. And now we're just bombarded by the corporations. How we're supposed to be. Not how we are, how we're supposed to be in their eyes. So
While we're on the subject of media, I want to mention I switched to satellite television because corporate TV is so corrupted. And I wanted to get real news, which you can get through the internet, but you pretty much can't through any corporate-owned outlet. So what you can get if you have a satellite, there are two stations that are completely supported. Maybe you know about this. They're completely supported by viewers. One is Link TV, and the other is Free Speech TV. They don't take any money from corporations, and so you really do get news. They carry Amy Goodman's Democracy Now!, for example, Al Jazeera News. So you can hear news from all over the world, not through the eyes of corporate America. And I only watch a little of the other occasionally to know what they're up to, but in terms of getting news, I really rely on those, and I recommend that to anybody who wants to be not to be subject to the propaganda constantly, like we're talking about.
Good advice. Satellite TV. And it should be free. I mean, it's way up in the sky.
I have a question. Are we going to talk about, well, he's over there, but he said there was an issue with Judy Stedman suggesting that leaders from different ones get together, and that seems...
A statewide assembly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea there, I've heard that in other states. I think the idea is that everybody says, okay, there's going to be a general assembly, and then we pick somebody through consensus. So let's say we decide to pick you. To go, and you go represent us, our group. You feel that you're the best, and then you represent it at the General Assembly level.
And so that's working in several places. Yeah,
they're working towards that. That's not happening. There are people trying to start creating state assemblies. There's actually a call for a national assembly.
This one kind of started as a state one, and then it drifted into decentralized.
Occupy America, I love it.
Yeah, 10,000 people all coming together for a national general assembly.
Well, we need numbers, so that's why
absolutely.
It does make sense.
They're doing it in Belgium. I mean, it's not part of the Occupy movement, but in Belgium, they call it the G1000. There's 1,000 people in Belgium who come from every part of the country who are coming together the last couple of months to create.
Does it all for us, so I will have to get a hold of something like this when I figure out the technology, and we will always have records of what we do. I love everybody's in here. This is magical to me. I had 3 hours sleep. I worked all night. I worked 12 hours. I'm a power plant operator at the Bow Power Plant. We just started up our new $500 million scrubber, so we got clean clouds coming out of our stack right now. But the point is that it's magical, and the more responsibility we delegate, the stronger we become. It was brought to my attention that we should try to move on Judy Stedman's statement of trying to form a statewide entity. The proposal already stands as tentatively a December 4th meeting will be held, probably in the evening, I'm not sure, and in Hooksett, New Hampshire, at the Union Hall, and I'm not sure what Union Hall that is, maybe IBEW, AFL-CIO.
It's an AFL.
Yeah, AFL-CIO, I'm IBEW. Yeah, so more than likely that is a go. We decided we had to push it back to December because Thanksgiving was going to just make it impossible for people. We don't want to get too close to Christmas, so it's a unique spot, and if it's the purity of the messages, we're looking to set up a GA that supports every other GA, not to be the overseer or the edict writer, but to be the communicator. And we want leaders to come forward to say, I want to be part of this GA, that GA, of this, to make it vibrant. And everybody's got a job if they want to do it. You just got to figure out what you want to do. That's the beauty of this. So I'll make a motion that we support Judy Stedman's initiative at this GA, so it becomes a continuation. And is there anybody that wants to talk on the subject? Excuse me?
We're not as
we don't
formal as that.
we don't know it.
Motions and
I
seconds.
got 2 books, Robert's Rule of Order.
Robert Rule of Order, there you go.
And I don't.
Oh,
my
yeah,
eyes glaze over. So the beauty of this is
It
the
should be moved and
simplicity.
seconded, and then we can discuss it.
Exactly. Now these are things that no doubt we'll get into, but right now I think, and it was already developed that the thought came out that the more formality we bring in, it becomes inhibiting, and we're going to shun that for the moment, but we will welcome it as we learn and understand it more, because it's a facilitator. Just like we talk in turn, and somebody raises their hand, that's a way of conducting ourselves, so we make sense. But the motion is made to support Judy Stedman's initiative. I won't try to repeat it. Is there any more people that want to talk on that subject? Okay.
Well, I'm not against it, but if there's no plan to do anything with it yet, is there really a point?
Well, the point is they're pursuing it, and if we affirm our support for this committee, so to speak, whoever the committee is, it's certainly Judy Stedman, she'll go forward with knowing we support her. If we tried to block it, we technically could stop it right now. If there was, 20 people came here that were preset and organized to kill everything we wanted to do here and tear up even our statement of peaceful conduct, you could tear all that up. But the point is, what you destroyed today is going to get reformed tomorrow, because the next GA Wednesday we'll just put everything back. And eventually, the planks we nailed down will stay down. We won't have characters that try to mass our meetings, and I'm sure it'll happen. There'll be 20 people that arrive, and we could be overwhelmed by any 20 people that are determined to disrupt our meeting, or to actually, because technically you're a member of no doubt the Manchester GA. You're active.
Oh, I haven't been there since they've actually been occupying those. So.
And they have a GA every night. Can you imagine a GA every night? And any one of those can totally rewrite everything that was ever said, I think.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, if it's all people that never showed up at other ones, no one's going to agree to it. Like the whole crowd that knows they've been consistently at them, they show up and they say, here's the new rules.
Right.
Everyone's going to say, we didn't agree to these, we're not doing them.
Yeah.
So that keeps it fluid.
Yeah. Continuity would say that it won't happen. They won't get away with it. So he's right. The mechanics, as simple as they are going to work. This GA is just amazing. So I don't know if is there any more discussion?
I think it's important for people who are trying to make communication clearer between the different groups to have positive reinforcement from a little group like this.
If you get to know Judy Stedman, I've only met her a few times. She's smart, and her biography reads like she's done 50 different things. She's been active. I was active in coffee parties. She was, and no doubt the level she was in was unbelievable. And she's been active in so many different official, paid positions and non-paid. I'm sure she's a vibrant asset. And so is this other lady, whose name I can't even repeat, that I announced earlier was coming. Going to live near Sherry Gould. I don't remember her name.
I'm not sure I understand your concern, but are you concerned that if we start an organization like this that hasn't said exactly what it's planning to do, that we should wait?
Well, I'm thinking if we want to move forward on something like there's just an event in the future that we want to participate in, I don't think we need to have a motion that we've all decided to do that. I think we can just start getting involved. If someone wants to say, all right, I'm going to look into the date, I don't think we need to have that sort of, and that gets back to the minutes. Like, I don't think it's really important that we have like a format of how we figured out that we're going to participate in something if we all already have it like a temperature check that we all kind of, we'll do that. So, like, I'm just saying, I don't think we need to move on this. I think we can just say, do we want to do this? Yes. Well, let's start planning and doing it.
Excuse me, I just want to say that Judy Stedman this initiative has already been incorporated. She will go forward with it anyway. I don't think we choose to stop her activity. I think you mentioned that it probably isn't ironed out exactly what their function is going to be, and I can only say that from what I've heard, it's strictly as a support. I won't even use the word parent organization. It's a support GA to initiate and help all the other GAs, because we believe our strength is in our diversity, across the whole state. And nation. You know, maybe we'll form something that Maine will copy. I met a guy he ran for Senate of Maine. His name is Burns. Thursday, and he's you can tell he's going places. These are the people you want more leaders to come from everywhere. So if we have a General Assembly and we define their purpose, we certainly do want them to run the state Occupy groups, but we want them to enable the state. If that was the wording and we limited them for that function, I think everybody would be happy with that, you know. Technically, well,
I think we should encourage everyone. I think, you know, the peace movement is all about encouraging, unless it's like violence or, sword.
yes.
I can see it too. This organization is supposed to be a horizontal, they're always saying, in terms of how it's running. And we don't want to lose that by becoming vertical with something at the top. But this could really be an enhancement of the horizontal nature, making it horizontal between, say, Manchester and Concord and Nashua and all of that. And if they're not in communication at all, then there are breaks in that, in your ability to use the horizontal sort of form.
I think it's similar to that, and my understanding has been with the Manchester GA has been the largest, or one of the larger, if not the largest, GAs. And some of the other groups that have formed, Concord, Conway, Keene, Portsmouth, wherever, or other sites within New Hampshire, I think I've heard that there's been some concern that they feel that Occupy Manchester is thinking itself as Occupy New Hampshire.
Okay, they're called Occupy New Hampshire.
It started off as Occupy New Hampshire, and everyone
and
from the
they
state got
involved
there.
us at the second GA that we had up here, and it was all part of Occupy New Hampshire. So this meeting in Hooksett, I think, is an attempt to show that each of while it's good that satellite areas are being formed to allow people that may not be able to get down to Manchester from wherever else, or may just have an hour to come here to Concord or whatever, they have a voice. And then that individual group, if we agree that anybody can go, or that people go to the meeting and then come back to this group and give updates or whatever, that each of the satellites is actually part of Occupy New Hampshire, which basically is in solidarity with Occupy Wall Street. So it's international.
Judy Stedman, I think, nailed it. She said something, and I wish I wrote the actual words down, but she said, in order to have a structure in the state that is so-called the coordinator for the state or the facilitator for the state, you have to bring people together and form that GA, okay? And so that's what we are doing, okay? And it's probably very good that it be nothing more than that. In our very first meeting, I'm sure we're going to try to set up a guideline what it's really all about. And if we're if that becomes a facilitator for the state, I think everybody can easily support that. Because if you know how to work Word documents, or if you're a gifted artist of some kind and you want to share it with all the GAs, that GA, whatever they want to call themselves, could enable you. And that's what it's all about. Give power to every group. There's a need for it. Guys, do you make a motion to adjourn and invite everybody to the Wednesday meeting? Is anybody, again, we'd say we'd second or something like that. But in this group, we form consensus, so we'll.
Are we going to form consensus on Judy's statement?
Okay, good point.
Let's do that.
Let's wait for Derek to get back.
Do you? I don't know if they're leaving or what. Hey, folks, do you want to stick around and vote on this motion for a moment? We'd like to include you.
Okay.
And as it stands right now, I'll make it simple. We support Judy Stedman's initiative and ask that everybody be kept in the loop and communicate what's going forth. And we're not going to oppose it. That's the statement.
So basically, she wants another GA assembly in Hooksett.
But she wants to form a GA. I wish I had the written document here, but I don't. To bring together people that will represent all the GAs. So certainly there'll be a conscious effort to bring them all together. If someone's got to come down from Conway, yeah, there's a problem of traveling, and I'm sure we'll have to dialogue as to this issue of where to hold these meetings if we have them. But the potency is that it be designed to support all the GAs and form more GAs throughout the state. Now, in order to do that technically legally, you have to invite all the GAs to come together to form that so-called GA.
Wait, so they want to form, you said legally, what do they want to do that's legal? Are they...
Well, legal is a phrase. We're legal because...
I hope they're not incorporating it.
No, we don't want to offend anybody. Yeah, the Manchester group is called Occupy New Hampshire. All well and good, they're good people, they're doing a fine job, and I've asked that they act as the umbrella organization. But now there's a proposal to set up a formal GA that's directly, delegates come from all the GAs and format their purpose. Now, we don't want to be in conflict with Manchester, Occupy New Hampshire. Right away, obviously, there's a title issue, but they do run the Manchester GA for whatever, that's their forte. Sundays, they try to run a statewide effort, which is, there's nothing wrong. We're never going to say what you can't do, okay? But ours, the whole purpose of this GA, whatever they call themselves, is to enable the local GAs.
We need the motion.
Okay. So the motion is just to support Dee Stedman's initiative.
It's just, the
Informing
initiative is just to get everybody together
to bring together people to talk on the formation of a so-called GA that, I'm going to use the word, enables all the other GAs. That's simple. Not to act as a controller, okay? So,
No, this should have come before, and the people want to leave, so I'm just thinking.
Yeah, we're all...
I was just wondering, if these people came together and it became a very authoritarian, top-down group, we could undo it.
They can't issue any orders. I don't expect anything to come to this.
That's crucial. You have to be able to recall a leader instantly.
We don't have leaders.
I just obey what you're doing. I'm going to go find more Occupy right over here.
Exactly. It's that simple.
Well, that's what
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the classic open source. That's what open source software is about. But it's an open source movement, and it means that it's like if all of a sudden I go, I don't really agree with all you guys. Hey, join Occupy Concord 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can come to either one.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. So I mean, that as long as that basic spirit is there, it stays radically democratic, radically participatory, radically consensual, and nobody's feeling like they're being oppressed. Isn't that why we're all here?
You can rest assured we are scaring the bejeebies out of these other so-called parties, the Republican, Democrat, the parties, and
I kind of have an opposition to that. Like, I can only represent myself. If I was to go to Hooksett, I'm not going to be representing you. I don't know your boat situation.
The point is, we want to see what comes out of that. They want to come together to form a GA to support the GAs. Okay? Do we need such a thing? I think we kind of agree that we do. It's not going to.
I don't think any one
GA.
person
We're all
needs anything
independent
to happen. It's just like an
Right.
organization.
I have a better idea, which is that as many people here that want to go to that General Assembly, the
Yeah.
better General
And then
Assembly
anybody
should be
can
able to
just
go.
go.
Everybody.
If all of us can go, we should all go. And that means if 10,000 people in New Hampshire are all sitting here, occupy a huge public space, yes!
Yeah, that's why.
And yes, it's messy, and yes, it's chaotic, and yes, you may not get a lot done in that one moment, but man, it will scare the bejesus out of the people.
Everything is called a GA, and as long as there's room to sit in a chair, or even if your allowed occupancy is 30 to a room, you can come Wednesday night. You're going to be welcome. And it's one of the statement I saw, standing room only, we can have 30 people, but it's 20. So, we're not going to, and this is what all about occupiers are, we don't inhibit anything. We can't say, oh no, you're not invited, we only want delegates. That's not how it works. You got to write. Can you, I want your email. I want to be able to hear what you say.
I'll write it down. Yeah, I'm going to be writing a lot more on my blog here.
Yeah, okay, great.
Because I've just been so busy.
Sign here or,
but,
or there.
I mean,
See, this is more a form of communication than anything else. Opening up communication.
I see it as linking all the satellites.
Sure. Yeah, we become just like, let's say there's an event. Washington D.C. is going to have a gathering March 30th called Now, National Occupy Washington Day, or weekend. That's going to be, yeah, it's a big organizational effect going in right now. And let's just say, well, we got 30 cars going down. I got a little Prius. It'll sit 4 comfortable. If you want to ride, help me pay my gas bill, which I can get 48.47 or something like that miles to the gallon. I can enable, and that's how it works. Ride sharing. Okay, there would be a.
And what is the best website to see what's going on?
Get to it by Googling Occupy Concord or Occupy New Hampshire. You'll get to the Facebook, the New Hampshire, the Occupy, the Manchester group has a beautiful website, and
There is also an Occupy Concord, California.
exactly.
Oh, there you go. You got to be careful there. You can start a group on Facebook real easily. Occupy Concord NH.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
group.
Really easy to do that. Everybody can start posting pictures and comments and events and all that.
So I'm going to say the motion carried, if there's no further business, we can open general discussion, or we can adjourn, or we can formally adjourn, and if people have other things to do, I got to go home and get to bed.
Yeah, you better.
So I make a motion that Judy Stedman's, I think it was voted upon, it was approved. Am I right? I want to be
Yes.
consensus.
So we gave a consensus.
Okay, that's good. And I tried to paint it exactly as it is.
Move to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn, and you're all invited Wednesday at the Friends building right here.
Cool. Well, hopefully in a month, you guys will no longer fit in that room.
We won't.
You'll have 5,000 people right here.
I looked at
I'll be keeping an eye on you
an
guys.
IBW hall.
I want to see 1,000 people
yesterday.
right here.
It'll hold 200. So it'll be a long winter, but we'll be building.
Sure.
And we'll have
Sure.
food, and we'll do it right. We're not going to go hungry. There'll be hot food and coffee.
If you get enough people out here, I'll actually order a pizza. I'll call in from Nevada and order a pizza and have it delivered right across the street.
Way to go.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Good to meet
Did
you
you
guys.
sign it? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I put my name right there.
Okay.
Right there. It's nice meeting you
Paul.
people. Take care. Good luck.
Take care, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right.